welcome back to another trailer reaction. Oh man, come on! We killed it. Oh boy. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're doing a trailer reaction for Star Wars The Last Jedi. We've been waiting for 5 godforsaken hours to watch this.
Too long.
I'm so excited.
I'm drinking my blue almost milk.
This panel is on fire
not
right now.
even remotely milk, but it is blue.
No, it's
so,
not. It's
yeah,
blue,
You
so
know
I
what?
tried to tie
It was
it
a
in.
really good try, Augie.
Yeah, I tried it, buddy.
I
You get an A for
appreciate
effort.
how festive you are on this momentous Star Warsy occasion.
Just to clarify for the internet, none of us have seen this trailer, correct?
No.
Okay, I expect
I was
that
very lethal in my tweet.
from you were.
To not post spoilers.
I am blown away that Emma, you have not seen this trailer yet.
I haven't, no, because I knew I was doing this trailer reaction, and so I just decided that I wasn't gonna watch the trailer until this very moment. So.
I guess it's that easy.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
It is
I
that
just
easy.
didn't really look on my Twitter.
Welcome to our lives.
and,
Every time a trailer comes out,
Yeah.
this is our sad lives.
I know, having to wait a whole freaking 5 hours.
Yeah.
But you and I did the trailer reaction when the first trailer came out for Star Wars Celebration.
During Star Wars
That
Celebration.
was fun.
That's
that was like a
right.
whole. We did spend like 4
It
hours.
was, I know, we
building
like
that
really dissected about 30 seconds worth of teasers.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much. Pretty much, we're like, yeah, and the shade of this color represents this. We're like, oh Jesus, this is gonna be forever.
was
You
good. It
guys,
was great.
what are you hoping to see from this trailer?
I don't know, man, but
Okay,
I
good
see,
talk,
I
good
see
talk.
that it's that nice 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is
perfect
a good
time.
time. That's your golden time right there.
I want to see. People were asking me because I was at the DMV today and it was real bored, and people were asking me, "What
Did
do you
people
want to see?"
recognize you
Yeah.
No,
at the DMV?
no,
Oh,
of course not.
I was gonna say
Because people in the real world don't give a shit about
No,
any
they
of
don't.
us or what
They
we
really
do or
don't.
anything that we like.
They
Nobody
really
gives
don't.
a
We're
shit.
in a little bubble.
But they were like, "What do you want to see?" And I said, "I think I want to see Poe do cool shit, and I want to see Finn do cool shit." Because I know Rey's gonna do cool shit.
Right, that's a
Yeah,
given.
that's
She's
fair.
already lifting rocks. Like she's gonna be,
Yeah.
she's swinging things around, and people are like, "Does she have the same movement as Obi-Wan?" And it's like, relax,
Oh,
relax.
God. We're
Does she
already
have the
dissecting
same
that, huh?
from
Yeah.
that one shot? And but I just want like, especially Finn, because he ended in a coma in the last one.
Yeah.
That's where he like ended.
Yeah.
Like he was out. So I want to see him
Come out of the coma.
Yeah.
do some cool shit,
Yeah.
and then also Poe do some cool shit, and just give jackets to
Everyone.
cute
Yeah.
boys
Literally
he's
everyone.
got crushes on.
Jacket.
Boom,
Jacket.
boom, 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 boom.
You didn't wear your jacket today.
Yeah, I
To
should have brought
every
it.
cute boy in the
Should've
galaxy.
Yeah. Hey, cute boys, who wants a jacket? Poe, 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 Poe.
Pies, boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
I'm
I would watch
excited.
that.
Keep it.
I'm
Keep it.
excited because last time we did a Star Wars trailer reaction, well, you two did a trailer reaction. I was missing,
yeah.
and I
You
haven't
missed
been
out.
here.
We
Yeah,
live streamed that.
so
bad boy.
I'm excited to watch you cry again. So
that
I
was
know
a
it's
very-
gonna happen. I'm ready
Yep.
for all the feels.
Ooh.
I
was
just
strong.
want to stop talking and watch this.
Ready for a Star
Do you have
Wars.
expectations?
I just really want to see Laura Dern with her fabulous purple hair.
Oh, that's right.
And also Kelly Tran, who's playing Rose. You know,
Yeah.
I wanna
All
see
right,
what
all
that
right.
character's
A little more
about.
insight.
Get a little
Awesome.
hint.
She is featured on the poster and has billing
She
on the
does.
poster, and I'm
That's
like,
amazing.
okay,
So dope.
very like important character,
Mhm.
clearly.
And I know her
Um,
from doing improv in
Yep,
LA. That's
same.
the coolest thing
yeah,
ever.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I was in like 301 with her or something.
Nice,
That's awesome.
nice.
Without further ado, shall we?
Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Woo! I'm so terrified.
Ready, Lucas?
I'm scared and I'm happy and I'm ready.
Here we go.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Something inside me has always been there. But now it's awake. And I need help.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now. Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
We have a spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down. This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your destiny.
Was that Snoke talking
I
the whole
need
time?
someone to show me my place in all this.
Oh!
All right.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh!
Okay.
All right.
Oh!
Yep.
Some of those shots gave me Lord of the Rings vibes when she was like in the cave. And
Totally.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got a little
man.
Lord of the Ringsian vibe from it as well.
I have a feeling there's gonna be a bit of a Prince Zuko vibe at
That's-
this point.
Well,
Ah,
I'm-
that I
that's
am
what's
here
happening.
for that. I
Right?
mean, I think that's what's been
Right?
interesting about Kylo Ren as a character thus far. Like, even though he is introduced to us as being a dark-sided
Yeah.
He's
Force
not, though.
user,
He's gray.
not. Yeah,
He's also the child of Princess Leia
I
Yeah.
know.
and Han Solo, two of the greatest
know.
heroes.
I know. Do
in
you
the
think?
galaxy.
Do you think that when Luke said to Rey that he's only ever seen one other power
was
as strong?
Ben. It was Ben Solo.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man.
I don't want to wait 2 more months.
No.
I'm shocked at the lack of tears.
Yeah.
I'm just in so much shock with everything
Yeah?
we just
Yeah.
saw.
I think
Okay,
it was
okay.
a beautifully emotional
It's-
moment
Yeah.
It was.
where
So-
we got Carrie Fisher. That little sequence was amazing. for a
this
trailer.
movie already just feels so different than The Force Awakens, and I love the fact that Rian Johnson took it in another direction and there are definitely some things that are echoing Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
Ray going through the trials,
Right.
a lot of that stuff I think
The
that
AT-ATs.
we may see. Sure,
Yep.
I think a lot of that
Like
stuff
they're
that we see may be some sort of a vision that she has going through the trials,
Oh, interesting.
Possibly.
Yeah.
which
very
is I
possible.
mean when
So you think maybe in the scene where like she's with Snoke, it's not that she's really with Snoke. She's having a vision of that happening to
that's
her.
I
Very
think
possible.
I
I
think
think
that's
yeah.
a strong possibility.
maybe I think that particular scene probably actually does happen.
Okay.
I think maybe the
Yeah.
stuff with Kylo Ren and tempting her to come join him,
Uh-huh.
not necessarily to the
It
dark
might
side,
be.
because again, he's not technically a part of the dark side. He's a dark, he's a- like
see,
Force
He's right.
user.
He's not
Well,
a
he's-
Sith Lord,
he's
but
not
he's
a
a
Sith.
dark-sided Force user.
Exactly.
He is also trying to find his place.
That's
you remember
true.
in the first movie, he was very confused
Yep.
as to
Well,
what
he's
he
very
wanted
conflicted
to do.
about potentially killing his mother. Too.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
and
so
he was conflicted
that
about killing
terrifies
his
me seeing
father.
that.
maybe they're both trying to find. Well, they both are trying to find their place.
I think
in
that
the
his mother is a
Force.
Force
Yeah.
user,
Yeah.
so
I think
they are
that
communicating
from the
somehow.
first trailer when we saw Mark Hamill say the Jedi must end,
Yeah.
it made me recontextualize all of the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And so much of that film, and I think what this whole trilogy is going to be about is like, okay, the light side and dark side, the ideas of those are whose phone is that? Is that
Yeah.
That's
someone's
mine. I'm
phone?
sorry.
because-
I'm sorry.
You're breaking my balls
That would
here,
have done.
August.
If that would have happened in the trailer, I would have.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
But
I'm glad.
I think you're onto something though, Hector.
Yeah.
That basically, I think what this film is going to address is that the idea of the Jedi and the Sith in of itself is
Yes.
problematic because it is an endless cycle
Yes.
Exactly.
of trying to
Exactly.
achieve balance. So if you do end up with two characters, because I mean, if you think like with the Sith and the rule of two, it's like either they both got to be Sith
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or something's got to change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like those types of things, those concepts in the rule of two, and Luke potentially maybe not being necessarily a Jedi, but being a Force user on the lighter side, and like how that whole thing plays into the story is going to be really interesting, and sort of like
Yeah.
how his story parallels with Kylo Ren's, but from another perspective, and like what his place has been in this universe for
Yeah.
30 years.
I think for me, the thing that's so exciting about watching this trailer and watching where this story is going is that something that I think they've actually done extremely well in the animated series Star Wars Rebels is exploring the idea of things not being quite so black and white.
Yes,
Exactly.
which I love.
Much
Agreed.
more so
Yeah.
than they were in the original trilogy, which wasn't to
Yes.
say that there wasn't a bit of gray area in those early films, but
Sure.
it was a lot more sort of black and white, good versus evil hero's journey. Whereas here, this is as much about Kylo Ren trying to figure out
As
where
it should
he
be.
fits into
As it
all of
should
this
be.
as
Same
it is Rey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think that
exactly.
that relationship and that character dynamic in of itself is extremely interesting.
Right, and I think, and even in the original trilogy, like Darth Vader, from pretty much the first movie, he was just kind of the villain.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, we kind of built towards making him more of a prominent character. It wasn't really until Return of the Jedi that he really became one of the central characters. Like him and Luke were the central characters of that story.
Yeah.
Whereas this, because he is Han and Leia's son, and he has direct ties to Luke and his power, I love the fact that they are really building up Rey and Kylo Ren's stories simultaneously.
Yeah.
And then having all these other characters sort of support their stories and how they influence their stories and what's going to happen with these characters. Like Kylo Ren at the end of this movie could very much go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Rey could very much go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be so interesting to see what the arc of these characters is going to be in this movie, and then trying to figure out where do they go in the third movie.
Yeah.
That's going to be
What
super
are they
interesting.
going to do? Are they going to flip flop? Are they going to both realize that they're kind of in the gray and work against Snoke?
I don't
like,
know.
what are they going to do? What's Snoke's place in this too? Because
Exactly.
we finally get to see his burned ass face
Yeah.
in the in this trailer, which is really interesting because is he the one who's talking from the very beginning?
He was talking.
He was
in
talking
he's
to,
the one-
to
Yeah.
Kylo Ren in the
So
beginning. yeah.
right there you go.
Let's
Oh,
talk
Phasma,
about
so-
Finn though, because
Yeah,
what
man.
is like you said, Hector, you wanted to see Finn
Yeah.
do some badass
That was
stuff.
Was
pretty
that
awesome.
badass enough for you?
That was pretty awesome.
Was that cool?
It was
I-
pretty great.
like
But
in the-
listen, those first trailers of Force Awakens, he is busting out a lightsaber,
Right.
and he ended up not being a Jedi.
Right.
And in this thing, he throws out that traitor thing to
Use
fight
the-
against Captain
yeah,
Phasma.
yeah.
And I love that he's back in this Imperial duds. It's like, where is his? He's such an interesting idea to me.
Right.
That character,
Right.
that stormtrooper who breaks away from his conditioning,
Definitely.
and to have a story prove that. Because I've seen like videos on YouTube about this, and they're like, just the idea that Finn exists means that the Star Wars universe is fucked up. And I'm like, it is
No,
fucked up.
yeah,
Of
it
course
is.
It's always
Of
been
course it
fucked up. Ignore the prequels that say all the troopers are clones, because
Right.
we know in the
They're
original
not.
trilogy they're not.
Yeah.
They recruited regular dudes, regular
that
people.
were put into basically a military training
Exactly.
program.
and that's fucked
Brain
up.
like
it's
real
totally
life.
fucked up.
Yeah.
As it is. So I just want I want more of his character. I mean, he was pretty prominent in the first film, and he had a combination. All the three new characters, Rey, Finn, and Poe, had combinations of Luke, Leia, and Han.
Yeah,
Sure,
In
yeah.
totally.
differing aspects.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like some of them were doing some stuff that Leia did, some stuff that Luke did, some stuff that Han did. And for me, Finn was definitely like the Han Solo type swagger,
Yes.
Mhm.
but he had some of that Luke like
Heroism.
Yeah, kind of
Naivete.
Naivete, exactly.
Yeah.
Right,
with
more
him.
of that. More of that. I wouldn't.
I'm in over my head. I don't,
Yeah.
He was. Don't want to call it approachable, but like more relatable. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Than-
But
he's
than
flawed.
Han
He's
Solo.
pretty
Yeah,
flawed,
for
yeah.
sure.
But I want to explore more of the idea that like he couldn't even kill somebody, and then that made him want to break away from
Right,
it. Like
right,
I
right.
love that stuff.
Plus,
so
I think what's interesting about this movie is that there is no time gap.
No, it starts
yeah.
It
immediately.
starts immediately after the Force
Right
Awakens,
away.
which has never
Well,
happened in a Star
now-
Wars movie.
that's true. I guess that makes sense. But I was going to say they could start you with that scene and then
Sure.
say so and so months later, or
Right.
they
Sure.
could
Which
they
they-
could
yeah.
infer
They
that
very well might.
time
Yeah,
is
they
going to
were well.
progress no
I
matter
mean,
what.
we're
but yeah.
probably going to see a training montage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. I mean,
A lot more from
when
what
we're
we're seeing
watching
here.
when we're watching Luke train Rey.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
I'm just. I'm glad this did not disappoint.
This is a
No,
great
I
fucking
think
trailer.
Yeah.
going
It's
into
very
this,
emotional.
I didn't 100% know where the story was going to be going, aside from the fact that obviously we were going to have Rey going through her Jedi training.
Yeah.
And based on what we've gotten out of this trailer, I'm very much looking forward to it because it looks to be a very character-driven
Yes.
piece of storytelling. I really think that we will get more of
Yeah.
of Finn's backstory and
Yeah.
sort of the conflict of leaving the Stormtrooper program
Yeah.
and joining the Resistance and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see why they're tying so much red into this. Because
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the
I
color
feel
of
like,
the
I feel
film,
like
yeah.
the movie is trying
the
to
planet-
balance things out.
Is it the planet Crate where those like
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
those-
Yeah,
Where
right.
those-
those,
oh,
where
this
those,
part right
those
here.
red,
Yeah,
the
there
red
it
sand
is.
thing
Yeah,
coming out of
yeah.
the white. There's red all over this. There's
Yeah.
red in the poster. The poster is all just red and
They're
white.
all
Right.
red,
Yeah.
yeah.
Snoke's
Why-
little throne room was all red.
Yeah.
The
He was-
Star Wars: The Last Jedi, when we first saw that image of the
Yeah.
name of the movie, it was in red.
Mhm.
So they're really going real heavy with the red. I want to know why they're going really heavy with
Oh,
the
you
red.
will
and I
find
mean,
out.
Are we
Star
gonna-
Wars is in red,
Yeah.
you guys.
Are we gonna see somebody else? Like, are they gonna bring in one of those They're not full Jedi.
The Crimson
Like-
Guard.
The
No,
like
no,
the
the
Inquisitors.
Inquisitor. Yeah, the Inquisitors.
Ah.
Like, are they going to bring an Inquisitor in?
I would
What are
love
they
it if
gonna
they
do?
brought an
That'd be dope as
Inquisitor
hell,
in.
but-
Yeah, like a little mini boss before they get to Snoke.
I'm also really, really curious to see how much of the Jedi history they will actually address.
I
Because seeing
know.
those books, like knowing that this is like this is probably the first Jedi temple in existence, and getting sort of the history and the backstory, like what Luke has learned in 30 years
Yeah.
and how that's really influenced his own spirituality and stuff. To me, that's one of the strongest things about The Empire Strikes Back. It's so spiritual.
Yeah.
It's so strong, and it means so much to the
Right.
characters
Right.
in that movie, particularly Yoda. Like, you learn so much about Yoda because of who he is and what he believes in, and I
Right.
really hope that they do spend time with that in this
Yeah.
movie. And
I think they're
going
going to crack the world open
You
with
guys,
this movie,
you
dude.
guys
So,
know how
yeah.
I
I
feel
think they
about the
could.
Jedi trials. Like, I want to see the 7 Jedi trials.
Totally.
And I fell in love with it with Gendy's version of Star Wars.
Mhm.
I saw that and I was like, this is what they have to go through. This is
Yeah.
incredible. And then Episode 9 of Star Wars Rebels of Season 1, where that happens.
You're going to make Emma cry.
Don't
Don't
you
you
go
make
make
Emma
Emma
cry.
Chills
Oh,
literally like
it's
thinking
just-
about it.
Yeah, I just.
I love all
think it made me
love
cry.
all the Jedi history stuff that they
Right.
get into
Awesome.
in Star Wars Rebels, and so
Yes.
I would love to see some of that reflected
Agreed.
in these
Agreed.
films. I feel like in a way that would be a nice sort of Easter egg to those series where people who are
Totally.
fans of Star Wars Rebels feel like they're getting something extra out of it, while people
Right.
who don't watch the animated series, they're not
Exactly.
missing out on anything.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's such a beautiful part of the Jedi lore because people are just assume that people have lightsabers and they don't think about what they have to do to get a lightsaber. Not everybody
Right.
gets a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Not everybody can use a lightsaber. You really have to prove that you have the morals and well, not necessarily the morals, but
Yeah.
like
Yes,
the,
I know.
yeah, right? Because there's the light side and
Right.
dark side, but that you can wield this amazing weapon.
Or be
Right.
General Grievous.
Or be General Grievous. Be a
whatever you
robot.
want.
Be a robot with a cough.
Thank God we don't have those characters.
Last thing I want
Yeah.
to say real quickly. This is nuts because I was thinking about this on the drive over here, and I was thinking about it earlier today. I don't know how deep Star Wars movies in the past, the original trilogy, have. Oh, like the prequels had some political commentary,
Sure.
kind of, about the times that those movies were coming out,
Episode 1.
especially with the war with Iraq and everything.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Definitely.
Is what like 2 and 3 I think went into a
Yeah.
little bit. They were lifting a line from George W. Bush that Anakin said. I don't know if the original trilogy. Try to refresh my memory a little bit. Was there any sort of commentary on like Vietnam or anything like that happening at the time?
I really.
What
I
I'm
don't-
saying is
I
this.
honestly don't think
I don't
so.
think they're
No.
they're not obvious, but there's some stuff there. What I'm saying is this: I feel like there's a division in the country today, in the United States, and probably around the world. But I know that there are people who because they think themselves Democrat, because they think themselves Republican, it's almost like a sports team mentality. This is
course.
my
It's
guy. I'm going to
tribalism.
root for my guy, no matter
Yeah.
what my guy says or does or whatever. I'm going to boo the other team because of this, and this,
Yeah.
and it feeds into this idea of getting misinformation and believing it, and of this team mentality. And maybe I'm putting this on this movie, and maybe it's there, and maybe it's not. But I was watching this trailer and thinking about that. I was going, what if these filmmakers are making a commentary today about that type of division, about us versus you, us versus them, and using the idea that the Jedi and the Sith are both. Obviously, the Jedi are good guys and the Sith are bad guys, obviously. But the Jedi
Right.
sometimes speak in as many absolutes as the Sith do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
it isn't until you have a character like Luke that says the Jedi must end that, like, you could maybe, reach across the aisle,
Totally.
if you will,
Yeah.
to a person like Ben.
Mhm.
Ben Solo. Is that person redeemable?
Yeah.
Even though what they've sort of been swept up into.
Right.
And vice versa. Could he see Rey as somebody that I don't know if that's going to be there, but I was thinking about that watch it and I was like, that would be
Yeah.
I would
fucking
be
amazing.
surprised if that wasn't part of
Yeah,
it. 'cause I think that's gonna
I was
be
going to
a-
say, I'm not sure if in of itself it is specifically a targeted political
Right.
commentary, but I do think that
That
is
would
a
be in
factor
there,
and that
for
that is
sure.
Absolutely.
that is something that exists and is completely relevant to
Yeah.
the political state of the world
Yeah.
today.
These
And
writers
it's,
aren't
and it's
living
something
in a
that's been
vacuum.
in Star Wars. I mean, that's
It's all
Yeah.
that's what the
politics have
original
always
trilogy.
been part
Yes.
of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, these are
Always.
still
Exactly.
kids' movies. It's not. I'm
Yep,
saying it's
no.
not super obvious when you watch these films.
Right.
They're still fun kids' movies,
But I mean, also, what a good lesson to teach kids
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
your enemies have their own perspective
Yep.
and they think that they're right, and maybe
Right.
try to understand why they think that way
Yeah.
instead of just
Absolutely.
accusing them of being bad.
I mean, the most diabolical villains are the ones who think they're doing the right thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Disney was like, "Hey kids, here's Zootopia. Racism's bad," and now they're gonna be like, "Hey kids, here's the Last Jedi." Maybe not all people that think themselves part of a tribe are
really that
necessarily
thing.
really that
different.
thing.
Yeah,
They
really
don't
that
know
wrong,
what the
yeah.
other side of it is. So
My hope is that with this movie, hopefully, if they really do explore the history of the Jedi and sort of like where they came from and all that kind of stuff, and it's received really well, I really want to see Knights of the Old Republic.
as
Of
a movie
course.
in the
I-
future,
I- yeah.
like
It
the
could happen,
original
man.
like video game. Knights
I
of
mean,
the
not
Old
exactly
Republic.
that adaptation, but that concept of like going
Yeah.
back 800 years.
Listen,
Right.
I am all about a movie with Carth Onasi in it, so
Oh,
like
man.
sign me up.
God, I would
Ooh.
love that.
Darth
so
Bane.
much.
Did I say the wrong thing? I'm sorry. I tried. I'm
It's
sorry.
oh
Did I
god,
not-
what is the name of the?
I don't
I'm totally
remember.
blanking on the
I'm
on
blanking
who,
too.
you
Darth
are, who
Bane?
you potentially are in that game. I don't have my phone.
Emperor Valkorion?
No, yeah, nope, that's not the one. That's not
Okay.
the one.
I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Anyway,
wrong,
guys,
Hector.
I can't wait to see Spock and all of his friends on
I
that.
can't wait to see
Get
Frodo.
the fuck out of my house.
Frodo,
Frodo,
yeah.
I like
I hate you
Thanos.
both.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I love how the shit talk is coming from the two who haven't bought their tickets yet.
I still have not.
Come
bought
on,
this. True.
boys. You got to get
It's
on that,
true.
otherwise the tickets are going to be gone. Final thoughts. Yeah, super excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, not enough Laura Dern in the trailer because there was
Nah.
not.
And no
but-
Benicio.
I know.
What the hell?
But, and I was thinking that, and no Kelly, but I was
Yeah.
thinking,
That's
guys,
right.
they gave us a lot of
That's true.
Ben Solo. They gave
Yeah.
us a lot of Carrie Fisher. Like, that little
Oh, man.
sequence
A
was.
lot of Ray, a lot of Luke.
we all paused because it was like, hey, here's like a montagey trailer, and we're going to sit
And then
with
here's
this
a
for
moment where
second.
you're like, oh, God, no.
God.
I'm
Yeah.
still stuck
Yeah.
on what the Darth. It starts with an R.
I'm
think.
sorry. Darth
I don't remember.
Darth Riddler.
Rindless.
Yes, Darth Riddler.
Randall.
That's exactly it.
Rain.
Yeah.
Randall.
Darth
Huh?
Revan. That's it.
Whoa!
Randall. I knew it. Randall.
I was
Darth
like,
Randall, we got
I
it.
was trying to think. I was like, not Raven. What's the
It's
hell's his
Revan.
name?
Yeah,
Revan.
That's so
Revan.
Revan.
So that's it. That's the sitcom spinoff.
Yeah.
Guys, please subscribe youtube.com/hyperrpg. Leave a comment and let us know what you thought about this trailer. And tell Hector he's wrong about everything that he says. Hector, where can everybody find you?
I will be wrong, but I think it's at Hector is funny.
It is. It is.
Can't wait.
You're
can't
actually
wait.
Good job,
right.
Hector.
This is
You're
a
right.
great trailer, man.
You're right.
Really good trailer.
You can find me at _Santo Taco.
Oh, you can find me at Emma Fife, which is my name.
You just find me at Adam Havoc. Make sure you guys join us October 20th, Friday. We're going to be at TwitchCon, 1:05 p.m. at the Expo stage. Hyper Heroes panel. All
then
four of us and our
trivia.
friend Cameron
And
Bryce.
Also, guys, if you like Star Wars, which you maybe
Yeah.
probably do because you're watching this
You
trailer,
might.
should totally watch Hector and myself on our Star Wars
right.
RPG.
It's a good one.
Pencils and Parsecs at twitch.tv/hyperrpg, 9:00 p.m. Pacific time
That
every
poster
Friday.
back there.
Woo, yeah, that poster.
There you go.
We're on it.
The
So
pencil
good.
and
So to
Parsec
speak.
poster.
I'm a Tagorian.
Which is actually not officially canon in the Star Wars universe.
All right, Lucas, we can keep
yes,
going
it
all
is.
night. Cut it off, Lucas.
It is.
Lucas,
I
cut it
read
off.
it. I read a novel, and a Tagorian's in it, and that novel is canon. And that's like the only canon
Cut it off,
Tagorian so
Lucas.
far.
Don't even.
Go to hell, Hector.
Thrawn. It was Thrawn.
Oh.